Madam City Clerk, are we ready?
We are ready. We are now recording.
Excellent.
Mayor, I have a few preliminary matters, if I may.
Please.
This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. This regular city council meeting of October 4th, 2022 is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Public comments may be accepted prior to the meeting utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are also permitted at the appropriate time. The mayor will call for such during public comment, and you may participate at this time utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and to remember your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruptions. If you are a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you, Mayor Connor.
Thank you. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of October 4th, 2022 at 6:01 p.m. We would like to acknowledge this evening being Yom Kippur. Due to previous advertisement restrictions, this meeting was not rescheduled. However, better consideration will be given in the future to ensure our meetings do not share a conflict with any observances. Yeah, that's very important. Madam Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilwoman Charlotte Leonard.
Present.
Councilman Julian Martinez is not present. Councilwoman Pilar Valle-Ron.
Present.
Vice Mayor Greg Langowski.
Present.
Mayor John Paul O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Please all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Seated. Additions, deletions, and modifications in the approval of agenda. I know of one modification. That is to have a parking agreement for our, with Minto for our Westlake Beats and Eats food truck event, which is this Friday, added to the agenda. I would very much like to entertain a motion to make that modification.
To add that.
Second. Okay.
We have a motion to modify the agenda by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Valle-Ron. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Could I get a clarification? Where will it show up on the agenda?
Let's place it. That is a wonderful
New
question.
business, item D.
Let's place it in new business. Let's go with item D. What's that?
Would that be item
C.
C?
C.
C.
No, we have a C. We have a C. There was a,
letter with Burger
there was
King,
a
revised
revision.
agenda.
All right,
Item C is consideration of engagement letter with Burger Tombs. So it would be item D.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, if I could please entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Public comments and requests. This section of the agenda allows for public comments. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. A public comment card should have been completed and returned to the city clerk. When you are called to speak, please go to the podium, unmute your device, and prior to addressing council, state your name and address for the record. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I received no previous public comments for this portion of the meeting. I'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands or mute their device. If they've a caller that has been muted, please press *6 to speak. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand, unmute your device, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. Mayor, we have no comments.
Consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless a council member requests such, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on a future agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion to approve consent agenda by Councilwoman Vayuron, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilwoman Vayuron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Moving on to the public hearing portion of our agenda. We have before us the second reading of ordinance 2022-10, application of Minto PBLH LLC proposing a small-scale future land use map amendment to change the future land use designation on a 9.137 acre site from civic to downtown mixed-use designation. The site is located at the southeast corner of Persimmon Boulevard and Ilex Way. I believe we have a presentation.
If I could, Mayor,
You may-
all those individuals going to testify during the course of this particular application, please raise your right hand and be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please proceed. And at this point, if any members of the council have had ex parte communications with an applicant or any other party, I would ask you to acknowledge that for the record.
I had ex parte communication with the developer.
As did I.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. For the record, I was Neil Leon, planner for the city of Westlake. Again, this is the second reading for this item. This item came before you, and there has been no changes from the first reading. Again, the applicant is proposing a small-scale future land use map amendment to change the future land use designation on a 9.13 acre site from civic to downtown mixed-use designation. The site is located at the southeast corner of Persimmon Way and Alex Way. The amendment is consistent with the provisions of Chapter 163.3184 and 163.3187 of the Florida statutes concerning the processing of a small-scale future land use amendment to the comprehensive plan. This small-scale future land use amendment to the comprehensive plan is compatible with the adjacent land uses and is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and Chapter 163. Staff does recommend approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Through this already a few
We got lots of
times.
questions last time.
I don't have any questions.
Questions?
No.
Do we have any comments from council?
I have none.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. Do you have any comments from the public?
Mayor, received no public comments for this item. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand, unmute your device, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. Mayor, I have no comments.
There being no further comments, let's go ahead and close public hearing. And Mr. City Attorney, can you read the ordinance by title?
I would respectfully request that you afford the applicant the opportunity to address the council.
Sure. Absolutely love for the applicant to present to the council.
Good evening, Tara Dewey of Lewis Lomanu Walker on behalf of Minto PBLH. I will not belabor you with additional presentation, just ask that our previous presentation be considered in your decision tonight. And if you have any additional questions regarding the proposal, please do feel free to ask.
Excellent. Thank you.
Now may I proceed?
You may.
Thank you, sir. Ordinance number 2022-10 by title only. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, specifically amending a portion of the City of Westlake future land use map to small-scale amendment, changing the future land use designation from civic category to downtown mixed-use category on property designated as POD PC-2, more particularly described herein, and containing 9.137 acres, more or less, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date.
Excellent. There being no further discussion, may I have a motion to approve on second reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of CPA 2022-01 future land use map amendment.
I second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next, we have another second reading, ordinance 2022-11. Application of Minto PBLH LLC requesting a zoning change from civic zoning to mixed use zoning district. This site is located in the southeast corner of Persimmon Boulevard and Ilex Way. This is the second part of that swap here. P and Z has a presentation.
Here for the record, Osniel Leon with the Planning and Zoning in City of Westlake. This item, this is the second reading of, the item came before you as a first, and it was approved, and no changes have been, there have been no changes from the first reading. The applicant is requesting a zoning change from civic zoning district to the mixed-use zoning district. The site is located at the southeast corner of Persimmon Boulevard and Alex Way. This is,
Can I
consistent.
interrupt? I'm sorry. I should have sworn everybody in again. All those individuals get testified, raise your hand. Please be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Again, the request of mixed-use zoning district allows a minimum gross density of 4 units per acre, the maximum gross density of 16 dwelling units per acre, and a maximum of 3.0 FAR. This is consistent with the downtown mixed-use future land use designation that allows a maximum gross density of 4 units per gross acre and a maximum gross density of 16 dwelling units per gross acre and a maximum 3.0 FAR. The proposed zoning district is compatible with the existing single-family residential to the north, south, and east, as well as with the existing development to the west. Any future development will be reviewed for traffic impacts and will be required to provide traffic study, and the application will be approved by the city council. Staff does recommend approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and reiterate now that I did have ex parte communications with the developer on this item.
As did I.
And I'll also reiterate my sentiment from the first reading approval that this is a win-win for the city. It's get us some tax dollars on land that we normally otherwise wouldn't be getting some tax dollars on. So I'm excited about that. Do we have any other comments from the council?
No comments.
Go ahead and open up the public hearing. Any comments from the public? Madam City Clerk, any public comments?
Mayor received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand or unmute your device. If you've been muted, please press *6. You have 3 minutes. We have no comments, Mayor.
Being no further comment, public hearing is closed. I will invite the applicant to come speak to us on this item.
Good evening. Once again, Tara Dewey of Lewis, Longman & Walker on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. Once again, I would hope that you would take in consideration my prior remarks at first reading in your consideration and vote tonight. If you have any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. City Attorney, would you like to read by title?
Yes, sir. Ordinance by title only, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving the rezoning of the property consisting of approximately 9.137 gross acres in size for the parcel referred to as Pod PC-2 from civic district to mixed-use district, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. There being no further discussion, may I have a motion to approve on
Motion.
second reading?
Motion to approve zoning change 2022-01.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilwoman Vayuron, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving forward to new business. We have before us ordinance 2022-12, pedestrian safety and public lodging.
Yes.
Nilsa?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Nilsa Zacharias, Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Westlake. So this ordinance was prepared by our legal counsel, Mr. Duty. And it's with regard to pedestrian safety and public lodging. You have as part of the package, and please, we are here if you have any questions.
Thank you. I am going to open up for discussion and comments from the council before I have Mr. Duty read by title.
Mr. Mayor, I have no comments.
No
Any
comment.
comments? Like to read by title?
Yes, sir. Ordinance by title only. Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida, creating a chapter to be determined the city's code of ordinances entitled Pedestrian Safety and Public Lodging by specifically creating sections to be determined designed to protect pedestrians, panhandlers, solicitors, and beggars in public streets and rights of ways, and prohibiting certain public lodging subject to outreach efforts, provide for codification, provide for conflicts, provide for severability, and provide for an effective date.
There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Mayor, excuse me, you do have a public comment. I don't know if you wish to entertain. It's from Catherine Rossmell on behalf of Minto PBLH.
I would absolutely love to entertain that public comment.
Thank you, Mayor. Catherine Rossmell from Lewis, Longman and Walker on behalf of Minto PBLH. Just wanted to make a minor comment, and we are talking with your staff about this as well. We just want to ensure that none of the events that Minto holds, which sometimes do involve tents or tailgating-like activities, are accidentally excluded by this ordinance. So we would just be looking for some clarification that we could continue to conduct the activities as we have and consistent with your special events chapter.
Mr. Mayor, if I could comment on that. I've had discussions with council. I would ask that you consider this on first reading. We'll work with council between first and second reading, and whatever language change we can work out to address their concerns, it'll be reflected in the you'll get a recommendation on second reading.
I think that's a good plan of action there. Certainly don't want to exclude, those types of events and movie night by the stars that may have some tents or something along those lines.
Right.
So between first and second reading, we clean up the language and get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you. There being no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2022-XX.
Second.
Thank you.
It's a unique title.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayuron. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Ordinance 2022-13, emergency ordinance. City Attorney, please read the ordinance in the record.
Yes, sir. Emergency ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, pursuant to Chapter 166 of the Florida statutes. The City Council hereby declares a state of emergency in the City of Westlake, given the impacts created by Hurricane Ian, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is a follow-up to the executive order issued by the mayor and would support any efforts of the city to seek any reimbursements associated with impacts felt as a result of the tropical event.
I was going to ask Mr. City Manager to explain further, but I think you did a wonderful job. You want to add?
No, it's one of the details that if we get dot the i's, cross the t's in case we have to go back. It also allows potentially the improvement district to piggyback off of this action for reimbursements.
Excellent.
And just so you know, many municipalities in Florida follow this procedure. In the statute that's referred to, 166 recognizes emergencies ordinances. So it's coming before you, not in their course of usual business. You're only going to have one reading. It's not being advertised. You're not having a public hearing. You're just following up pursuant to the statute.
Excellent. Do we have any comments from council?
No
No.
comments.
There being no further comments, may I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2022-13, emergency ordinance declaring a state of emergency in the city of Westlake.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Leonard, second by Councilwoman Vayuron. Roll call, Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Excellent. Item C, consideration of engagement letter with Burger Tunes, Elam Gaines, Frank Gaines, and Frank for the fiscal year 2022 financial audits. City Manager, would you like to?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Each year, we have to have the books audited by an independent third-party auditor. This is, I think, our fourth year with them. The cost has gone up some from last year, partially due to the growth and complexity of what we're dealing with now. But probably next year or the year after, we will go out again to the marketplace for auditors. My rule of thumb is every 4 to 5 years, go out, resolicit the auditors, just keep everybody in check.
Fair enough. Do we have any discussion from council?
That was my question for you, if we were gonna put that back up to RFP in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
My
It's
question.
safe to change the blood every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not only that, but as you go out and you talk to the auditors, there's a limited group of auditors that do governmental auditing. However, they all know approximately where it is, how much it's going to be, how long it's going to take. What changes is depending on the client, the complexity as time goes over time, things get a little more difficult as far as complexity. So it adds more hours that they have to go through, but they go through a very thorough testing.
Percentage wise, what's the increase?
It's went from a little over 5,000 to 7,000.
Okay, so 5%.
Yeah.
No. 40%. Do we have any other council discussion, questions?
And it is a not to exceed 7,000.
And I'm assuming staff recommends this.
Yes.
No further discussion. If there is no further discussion, may I entertain a motion authorizing the city manager to execute the engagement letter with Berger, Toombs, Elon, Gaines, and Frank, Gaines, and Frank for the fiscal year 2022 financial audit?
Motion to approve that, audit engagement.
Fs and the Ts and the Gs.
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayuron. Roll call, Councilwoman Vayuron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes,
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you. Item D is the parking agreement between the city of Westlake and Minto PBLH LLC for our Beats and Eats event this Friday. Do you want to talk about that?
It's just we need, in order to use Minto's land, we do need the parking agreement that covers us having insurance in order to be able to use it. And the council
Nice
authorized,
enough to let us.
allow
use
us. Yes.
it, Allow us to use it, and we thank them very much for doing so.
If I can make a recommendation
Sure.
that you could favorably act upon this item, subject to my approval. I would just want to make sure it's identical to what we used last time. I haven't had a chance to review it yet, and you could authorize the city manager to sign it.
Let's entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to sign it, assuming
Subject to legal review.
legal signs off on it.
Yes, sir.
As far as we know, it's the exact same agreement, just.
Yes, my understanding
Dates were
is
changed.
we're dusting off the 4th of July and changing the dates.
Perfect.
I shouldn't have any problem with it.
And we again thank you
To be clear, just to be extremely candid, there's only two changes. One, to remove the fireworks aspect of it, and two, to change slightly the property description because it's only one section of property as opposed to as much as you needed for Fourth Fest. So those are the only two substantive changes made to the document that we submitted to Mr. Judy for his review.
And the date, I would assume.
And the dates and the name of the event, yes.
Thank you so very much. I'd love to entertain that motion to approve and allowing city manager to execute pending legal review.
So motion to approve, allowing city manager for pending legal review.
Execute. Have a motion. I need a second.
Second, I'm sorry, I thought she was
That's all right.
revising what we were saying. I was waiting for her to say it again or something.
Councilwoman Bayron, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes, absolutely.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayron.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you for that as well. That's,
You don't need to put that in the agreement.
no. Our wonderful developer partners here doing great things for us as always. Let's move on to city council comments. Councilwoman Leonard. Start with you.
I have no comments for this evening, Mayor. But I'd like to just say that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and for all women that have suffered from breast cancer or been impacted by it, I'd like to honor you and say happy or celebratory month. I'm not sure if it's a happy month, but we recognize this
Certainly
month on your
recognize
behalf. Yes.
Yes.
We are without Councilman Martinez today. He is actually deployed with the fire department in the efforts on the west coast of our wonderful state here. So I'd like to recognize him for that. And moving on to Councilwoman Bayron.
So I just want to say thank you for all the efforts for this Friday. We have a wonderful mayor and a wonderful team that putting this together for Friday. And I'm looking forward to be there with my family. And I hope all Westlake is going to be there this Friday. Okay? That's it. And
Excellent.
then I see you guys next Thursday,
Thank you
next
very
Tuesday.
much. Well, Friday,
And Friday.
the event.
Yes.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
I have no comments.
Okay. I'll touch on a couple things. One, I am very excited about the event this Friday. I'm extremely grateful to have Minto as a partner and allowing us to use their land as they have in the past. Hopefully, till we have our own space, they'll continue to do so when we need it. The events committee has been busting their tail to make this thing. They've got great vendors and great food trucks and a little bit of shopping, a little bit of everything, a great DJ. It's going to be a welcome distraction from everything going on this went through and everything going on out west. So good at what they're doing. They've already nailed down a date for the next event that I'll spring on everybody right now while I'm at it. December 11th is the tentative date. They want to do a morning, which is a Sunday, like a winter holiday kind of market on a Sunday morning. They want to grab some of the green market vendors that are normally working on Saturdays at the different green markets. They've already been talking to a bunch of them, and we do it on Sunday. Maybe have like a brunch food truck type situation. So if there's no objection from council,
No
I'd
rejection.
like to give them the okay to start planning that. That would be December 11th. More serious business, we have a couple residents in the Groves subdevelopment that were not pleased with the level of landscaping on the berm corridor there, and I was copied on a few emails. Just, I want to throw on the record that I did have staff reach out to engineering. They've confirmed that everything was done completely to plan, everything was done spec. I've actually got the letter in my hand, so both permits were completely closed and everything was done the way it was supposed to be. So although I sympathize with those residents that happy with their landscaping, they can certainly everything was done the way it was supposed to be. So I just want to throw that out there. And Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know that last year we lit up some of the trees in pink to honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know if we have the resources to do it again this month, but if we do,
I'll see if we still have some materials left for Sid and try to do that. As a follow-up to that, one of the things that Sid is in the process of doing is some of the lights, for example, around the roundabout have deteriorated over time. We're in the process of, we've ordered them, we're in the process of installing new LED lights that we can change the color of,
RGB, great, you can change
that we
it.
can change the color of the lights at any point in time. Basically, from the phone, the guys can go out and program the lights to be whatever color. So that'll make it a lot easier and faster to change for whether it's Christmas or breast care awareness or whatever it is, we can do changes and stuff. We're also going to be doing those kind of lights as the other ones on Seminole Pratt at the two main entrances start to go bad. We'll be changing those out as well.
Excellent. I personally still have the lights that I ordered to put up on my own home. I encourage all residents of Westlake to paint the town pink, so to speak.
Good idea.
And you get them on Amazon. They weren't very expensive, 30, 40 bucks. And they painted the whole thing. And then I was able to do fun stuff for Halloween also. So it's, everybody can. It's Cancer Awareness Month. It's incredibly important.
Mr. Mayor, just to go
Sure.
back to the letter, I just wanted to clarify, I guess.
And I'll actually let you read it.
So there were no damage to landscape as a result of a storm, and just want to make sure we
No.
identify that.
No,
and just say-
nothing in that area. The few trees that we had down in various locations have all been stood back up and re-anchored. But we skated with very little damage. And also Sid was able to, actually Thursday before the Friday, they had already anticipated and lowered the staging of the entire drainage system. And we, even though we popped back up, we got 4 inches of rain over the weekend. We kept it open, we drained it, and we never got more than about 1.5 feet above our controlled elevation.
I'd actually like to take a moment right now and recognize the efforts of Sid
Yes.
during the storm.
It was
I
amazing.
was waiting for the water to start.
Yeah.
Driving, but you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were on sharp.
Preparing, I'll recognize the strength of our grid and our infrastructure here in Westlake. Not even a flicker of electricity
Right.
when, social media, the entire, many of the surrounding areas were in the dark and,
Yeah,
we didn't lose internet, we didn't lose electricity.
nothing.
We had
That
zero
was
flooding.
amazing.
Except for a little bit of high water in Groves Plaza, which apparently is engineered as an additional water basin to store water, and they make it drain slowly on purpose.
On that subject, Sid, along with the developer, with modifications to the lake for a parcel being transferred to the county, will be making some modifications to one of the inlets there, which will allow that lake to be staged down lower than we could prior, so that we can bring that down with the rest of the system so that it can anticipate the extra flowage, which should alleviate or minimize the storage required within the parking lot itself.
Fantastic. I mean, I'll just say it again. City staff, Sid staff, preparation of this storm, execution. I can't think of any better result we could have had as a city.
Thank you.
You guys did a hell of a job, and thank you. And the city thanks you. The residents thank you. I thank you. No. Let's see, there are no staff reports included in the agenda,
There are several in front of you that.
but the
came in
council has
late.
received at the dais reports of PBSO and fire rescue.
Right.
Do we want, does fire rescue or PBSO wanna chat? You don't have to. You're more than welcome to.
Good evening, Philip Oliveri, District Chief, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. First, just to go over your response report from last month. There were 27 calls in Westlake. So majority of the calls are alarms and medical calls. All of our calls, response time, travel time were less than 5 minutes. So we're doing a good job on all of our travel times. Just to touch a little bit about the hurricane, I want to remind everyone that we are a resource for you guys. And once the storm passes, including in the eye of a storm, we go out and we travel the area and we use an app called the READ app that we use. And we document through pictures to the EOC to notify them of any blockages or flooding or major damage. So that way we can get resources out to help those people post-storm. So once everything clears up, we will be in contact with Ken, making sure that he understands that if he needs anything or if there's road blockage to work with Public Works so that way they can get out there and clear the roads and help us out a little bit. But in the meantime, we will be out there with chainsaws doing our own stuff so we can get the calls. One thing that we did do during the storm that we typically do out here is we upstaff our high water vehicle right here at Station 22. We put 2 additional personnel out there. So that way, if we do have flooding, we can get out there, get the people in the back of the truck, and we can get them to dry land and then get them to a safe area. So that's one resource that we have. We do want to mention Councilman Martinez. He's deployed as part of our hazmat task force over on the West Coast. They deployed within a couple hours. They basically get a phone call, and within 2-3 hours, they have to be ready to go, and they deploy. We deployed with an engine, a rescue, and a tanker truck. The truck that went actually took the driver from Station 22 as well. So you actually have 2 people from Westlake that are deployed on the West Coast right now.
Fantastic.
Along with that, we've also deployed multiple engines and rescues as part of task force strike teams with other members of the county, other partner agencies. So right now, I believe we have a total of 3 engines, 3 rescues, plus a hazmat truck and a tanker truck, communications trucks. And it doesn't affect any of our services because we're such a large agency, we can backfill everything. And the residents don't recognize any change in service. So it's a great resource that we have here in Palm Beach County. The last thing I want to touch on is next week is Fire Prevention Week. So we want to remind everybody that this year, the theme is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. So it's important for parents to talk to their kids and also with their parents that maybe live within their elderly and may have difficulty moving around inside the house, have an escape plan, know how to get out of your house. It seems like a common sense thing to a lot of people, but when a fire actually strikes, because of the amount of combustibles that are inside of a house today, it's down to minutes. 2-3 minutes is about what you have to get outside of a house once a fire starts and starts to grow. So it's a good reminder for everybody to have that plan, especially with little ones, with kids, have a meeting place, know what you're going to do and know where you're going to go. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
I have a completely off-topic question that this isn't probably the right venue to talk about it, but I will anyways. So Fourth Fest, the county fire department had inspected a handful of the food trucks as part of the requirement to their safety requirements, and they didn't actually receive any kind of. Your truck passed the inspection. A handful of those same food trucks are back in front of us on this Friday coming. And if I recall, you guys did those inspections in the field, like you did them here. Would it be at all possible to have inspections done again on?
Yeah, and absolutely. And that'll be scheduled through our Community Risk Reduction Division. Same way as Fourth Fest. They'll come out and they'll do the inspections on the trucks, make sure everything's safe. So that way everyone's following the rules.
Ken, do you know how to call them up and have them come out?
I'll give it one.
I'm going to call that guy.
For Friday morning.
We'll get them so that they're out here by the time they're out setting up.
Perfect. And that is wonderful. That's when a plan comes together.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief?
Just thank you for all your help. And this information is very important. So next hurricane, we know that we can contact.
Absolutely. Well, listen, just call us. I'm your primary contact. As you guys grow and you start to have more of a your own EOC out here stuff, then we'll start talking about having a liaison out there. So someone's actually embedded with your team running it. So that way the communication flows a little bit easier. We do that with some of the bigger areas and stuff that have their own EOCs. And they're all part of my battalion command team out here. So they report directly to my operations division and then who reports to me. And then we make all the decisions out of our headquarters station there at Station 28.
So regarding what we just talked right now, I was wondering, there's different cities that sometimes they have these little events with little kids. Maybe I'm a nurse, so I have to teach all the time. So maybe we can do something with the Westlake community kids and teach them what to do in a case of a fire.
Absolutely. You can put on your own public safety fair. You can have an event when it comes out, and it usually involves our partners in green over there. PBSO come out and they bring all their toys. We bring some of our toys, let the kids see all that stuff. We'll have members from our community risk reduction division come out and they'll talk and they'll go over. We have a bunch of different programs that you guys can look at, see what you want to incorporate into it, and that'll determine how we staff it.
Yeah, because the little
Great.
kids,
Yeah.
the little kids are like, they don't listen to parents. We can tell them 100 times what to do.
I'm with
They are
you.
not gonna learn.
Yeah,
But if you guys talk to them and say, stop, roll, and all the stuff that you do,
Yeah.
they're gonna do it.
And the credit really goes to our community risk reduction division because they're the ones that get out there and they're so great with the kids and everybody. And that's what they do. You know, they go to the schools, they do all that stuff. So it really does. All the credit goes to them for that. We kind of just show up and look good because we show up with the big trucks and all the kids' eyes get
They
big.
get
They see the
excited.
flashy lights.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good thing to do.
yeah, absolutely.
So, can I get council consensus to start planning a community safety fair?
Well, I
Yeah.
actually submitted
Yeah.
to Ken an emergency preparedness day. I think it's September 11th. So it was too late this year to plan that. So I did recommend we look at doing that for the community next year involving fire, police, what to do in the case of a hurricane, just all the emergency
Yeah.
disaster
Great.
preparedness.
But I think
So-
we don't have no time if we want to do a fire event.
Yeah, I
with
think
the
we could do, I think we
Westlake
could
Kids
schedule
community.
a,
We can schedule it.
I
Mhm.
mean, and,
Yeah.
you know, we've got this great ad hoc events committee.
Yeah.
It's doing a wonderful job. I think they would take that ball and run with it. So
11 is actual day, so maybe somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
We'll work on it.
What do you think?
We would, you could also, I know it's a few months out, but February, March area, you may be able to utilize with the master HOA, the new facility, be able to have it inside.
Yeah.
It would be actually a good
The lodge.
kickoff in the lodge of fire safety or an event with the
Sure.
families and the kids of Westlake as the focus.
Wonderful suggestion.
You'll still have
Okay.
that bear,
that.
smoky.
Well, we have a Dalmatian that we use sometimes. So it just depends on if he's around that. We can talk about that offline.
It's from the sheriff, not from.
Chief, as always,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Any
Thank
more
you.
questions for Chief?
Yep.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to come out. You're welcome to.
I can fill in some details on a couple things that Chief,
All right.
because we run a national
We'd love to have you.
night out, different areas. And as it was brought out, we do bring all our toys. That would have to be through our public affairs area. I mean, they'll bring everything out. We got high water vehicles, everything else. And City of Westlake is, we found that you actually have a new deputy starting this month. And then in January, there will be another one that's starting. But as you guys have seen, the cars that the City of Westlake have, it has your city logo and it says the City of Westlake on the side. But you also get the benefit of the District 15 trucks and all the other ones. And the added bonuses, and I'm sure for Palm Beach Fire Rescues, probably half the agency lives out this way, so. You get,
Sure.
Yes.
you get all our marked units that are driving in and out
Mhm.
on there. We had a sergeant meeting last week. And obviously with the growth that you guys are having, all of our citizen contacts are improving. I will say this, after 15 years in this job, this is probably one of the, and I worked in Wellington too, so at one point, crime wise, you guys are very, very low.
Let's keep it
Yeah,
that
let's
way.
keep it that way, yes.
That it's, and it's being proactive. how everything else comes out. I know over here we keep some of our vehicles and stuff. So thankfully, this was really a non-event for us for Hurricane Ian, but over here, we have some high water vehicles too that we have graciously that you allow us to keep stored. And obviously we'll use all that. And then say an event does come in, just like our brothers that drive the big red fire trucks. You have your small little base here, but that can expand hugely in a matter of minutes. And that being said, whenever it comes in, we like to keep a positive outlook with all of our city contracts that we go with. And obviously Lieutenant DeMarzio and Captain Turner can fill that in more, but like I said, as the growth has come in, I would say everything's on par. I've been here over a month now from where I transferred from, and I will say that this is a change of pace. It's a wonderful.
Clear,
change
no,
of pace.
It's a nice.
I was gonna say a good thing.
So-
On a tight ship.
It's a happy
Yes.
pace.
Oh, yeah, it's very much, the stress level goes down. So it is great. It's a wonderful community. And as you guys are growing, it's also wonderful to see how that's going too. And if you have any questions, I'm limited at my level as the supervisor for one of the 4 squads that runs. But Lieutenant DeMarzio and I know Captain Turner is always available. And like I said, the National Crime Out, when it comes out, you call our public affairs, public information, they set all that up. We have community services and the event that you're looking for. You send them an email, and I mean, they'll send everything. They'll bring out the SWAT truck, they'll bring the helicopter,
Wow.
they bring out all their good stuff. We'll bring boats. We'll even reach out to other, some of the state agencies and they'll bring stuff
Oh, wow.
and it goes in there. And what you're looking for about the fire and everything, it goes in there. It's a positive outreach too. And it also brings in some things that you maybe didn't know that we have that comes in. And you can actually see how big the green, as we call it, the green machine is and the wonderful things that we can bring to it. And for the citizens, when it's here, when you do see us, feel free to reach out to us. I know when you see some of the deputies, they're a little rough around the edge. But that's on a 12-hour
Occupational health.
shift, you don't know what we're going to. Sometimes I do correct that. So, but just realize, when you chat to them, we do a lot. It's quite interesting. It's never the same day, so it's good. And I appreciate that Westlake allows us to work out here and see how it grows over the years. And if you have any questions about anything, like if I can't do it, I will definitely send it up to my chain of command if you have anything that I cannot answer.
Well, we certainly appreciate you and we love having you. Appreciate everything you and your brothers in green do for us. Does anybody have any questions for the sergeant?
No questions. Thank you very much for your help.
Service.
For the record, can you please state your name?
Sorry. Try to get out of calls by not doing that too. I am Sergeant Paul Schofield, and I am born and raised in Palm Beach County.
All right.
And my father, thankfully retired a couple years ago, was a village manager over in Wellington. So, and I will say we have I have roots in this community. Don't plan on leaving. So it's a wonderful place.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
for-
you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything for us?
No, sir, not this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager,
I think we've covered everything I need to cover. We're good.
let's open up for public comments.
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hands or unmute your device, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Those red and white units.
Mayor, I have no comment.
There being no further business, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:49. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.